Second landscape is inspired by the countryside around the village where my boyfriend's parents live. We spent quite a lot of time there, and I love walking these peaceful fields and meadows. I chose this photo as a reference picture for today's class. So after I fix my paper to the hardboard, I'm going to do a very quick sketch. I don't want any details, I just want to mark where the main objects are and how the pathway goes. Now I'm again going to start with the sky. First I apply a layer of clean water to the area of the sky. And next, using my mop brush and ultramarine blue, I paint the sky. I want the blue color to be darker in the upper part of the sky and going lighter and lighter as we go closer to the horizon. So what I do is that I apply the color on the upper part of the paper, and then I am lifting the hardboard with the paper, using the gravitation to move the pigment gradually to the bottom part of the sky. You can also help it a bit and add more clean water to the lower part of the sky. That would make the blue gradient wash even more seamless. Now I need the sky to dry before we continue, so let's take the advantage of the really hot days we have now. This is my tiny balcony and I sometimes use it to speed up the drying process as the sun shines really strong here. It took just a few minutes for the paper to dry, so we can now continue with the ground. I know it can be overwhelming to paint a landscape based on the photo, because you see all these tiny details, all the bushes and the grass and leaves, but we are not going to worry about it now. First thing to do is to apply a base layer of color that would help our painting to look more harmonious. I apply the color following the leading lines, like the pathway and the rows in which the crops grow, to introduce a bit of a three-dimensional look to the painting. The first layer is light. I use raw sienna and olive green. Here where we have the pathway, you can see that the ground is a bit lighter, so I'm lifting up the pigment using a clean damp brush. The brush would suck in the liquid from the paper together with the pigment and give you lighter color as a result. Now, while the first layer is still wet, let's add more color wet on wet. I still don't care about any details. I look at the photo and try to identify the darks and lights there. Then I roughly apply the color accordingly. So for example, I see that there is a strip of darker green color meeting the horizon line. Or on the right side there is a big bush. There are some red grasses growing next to the big tree, so you can see that I'm not drawing them one by one, I just suggest the shape of the whole bunch of them. And now, of course, the tree. I'm still using the mop brush, so the color is applied roughly, no tiny branches or leaves. The green color I'm using for the tree and bush is a mix of ultramarine blue and olive green. Adding more blue into the mix will give me darker and colder tone. Note that as I paint the shape of the tree, I'm leaving out tiny bits of the sky seeing through the leaves. It's a nice way to add texture and highlights to the trees and bushes. You can add also a few drops of pure ultramarine to the tree, especially to the left and bottom part. That would give you a nice shading. Also the bush. You can see that the sun is shining from the right side and the bush is casting quite a big shadow, so I'm adding more ultramarine to the left bottom of the bush and also to the pathway, where the shadow is cast by the grass. This photo was taken after 6 p.m, so the shadows are pretty long. As the watercolor dries quite light, I'm again applying some darker green color to the left part of the landscape. Okay, I think we have the colors and values done alright. Now let's add a bit of a detail and texture. But no worries, it's going to be very easy. Basically what we see here is a field of weeds and some grass. So I'll take a thinner brush and I'm drawing simple vertical lines to the field area and also by the pathway. I am switching between olive green and raw sienna. The paper is still a bit damp, so this initial layer of texture will not remain much defined. We're going to add one more layer later, but first let the painting dry. Mine is dry already. It's 36 degrees today, it's killing hot. So I can work on some details. First, you can see that there is a row of trees in the distance. So I'm using my medium brush and ultramarine plus olive green mix, and I'm painting these trees. It's just an uneven line of green color, but it's clear to everyone that those are the trees. Now this nice bush we have in the foreground. There is a shade on the left part and also on the actual bush. So I have mix of ultramarine and raw sienna, and I'm painting some spots on the bush dark, also the lower left part. And it is casting a long shadow over the pathway as well. So here I'm drawing that shadow lying on the ground. And few more darker spots on the bush. Now I want to work on the pathway. You can see that the shadow is on the left side of the stripe of yellow grass, and it's pretty pronounced. It gives us the line that is leading the eye towards the tree. It holds the composition of the painting, so it's quite important. I have my small brush so that I have a good amount of control over what's happening on the paper, and I mix myself a fresh, rich mix of raw sienna and ultramarine for the shadow. I'm holding on to the direction of the pathway, having the expressive yellow grasses right next to the shadow. And now I just add few more simple quick grasses using pure raw sienna. I am satisfied with the pathway, so let's add few more grasses and weeds to the left part of the painting. I am changing the colors. I use olive green, then raw sienna and also the gray mix. Nothing else is needed. The painting has enough texture but does not seem too busy. The colors are nice and harmonious. There is enough contrast between the light and shadow.